Okay, so today I'm going to take you through a series of different tools through manual touch, somatic based exercises, and a variety of other things that will kind of give you a framework to help kind of bring your nervous system back to a state that feels more present and more supportive. This is a great thing to do when maybe you're just not feeling like yourself, you're not feeling present in your body, you're dealing with some uncomfortable emotions or sensations in your body. All of these things will help to kind of dial down the intensity on those sensations and hopefully help you to come back to a place where your body can start to begin the healing process. So, when you're ready, just go ahead and find your way down onto your back. Grab whatever you need to feel comfortable. I would say maybe some pillows, some blankets would be nice. Um, I don't have much here today, so I'm just going to use this as a little head support. But when you come onto your back, you're going to take your feet, be a little bit wider than your hips so that you can just allow the thighs to gently fall inward toward one another. You can also let the legs be more extended, maybe propping a pillow or something underneath of your knees. Whatever is going to make you feel like your body can just fall back into the floor behind you. So there's no feeling of like if your legs are maybe fully extended, your low back's getting kind of yanked off the floor, right? Anything that maybe feels like it's tugging, maybe if it's in your head or shoulders, kind of prop yourself up so that you feel again like your bones can just settle back and there's as much relaxation right off the bat as possible, right? So once you've found that comfortable position for yourself, I want you to just begin to let your eyes close very softly and just start to dial in on your eyes. Kind of notice how the muscles around the eyes are maybe holding. Maybe you start to just allow those to soften and spread a little bit wider, almost like your eyeballs could get wider and fall back into their sockets. And we're just going to begin to take some nice breaths in here. And as you breathe in, just imagine pulling air in through the nose. Allow it to kind of reach the back of your skull and then move downward, down your throat into your lungs. And as you exhale, I want you to just think surrender. Just start to kind of give up any expectations of how long the exhale should be, right? What it should feel like. Just think surrender back. Just allow your body to exhale in the way it knows how to. Okay? And you're just going to be with this for a few breaths, just pulling air in through the nose, really picturing how it pulls in and reaches down your throat into your lungs. Maybe you start to feel it pull into the base of the rib cage. And then exhale, just give it a big sigh out. Just let go of anything maybe holding on to in the throat or in the lungs. Just kind of picture that exiting the body. We're going to continue this nice mindful breathing. We're just going to start to bring some awareness to our hands. I want you to just wiggle all 10 fingers, right? Wiggling, just bringing some sensation to the hands. We're going to use them to provide some very gentle manual touch. So starting to wake up, maybe you close the fists and open. Right. If your hands are feeling a little bit cold, maybe you start to rub them together and just create a little bit of heat through the palms. Okay. And then when you're ready, you've created some of that heat. You're going to start to bring the palms to the ears, like you're just cupping the entire ear with both hands. And I want you to just gently press inward and just give yourself this soft kind of press on both sides of your head as you continue that deep, soft breathing, inhaling, Starting to extend the exhale, maybe making it a little bit longer than that inhale. And just allowing the eyes to fall back into their sockets. Feeling the eyebrows are unfurrowing. Okay. And with this cup of the hands, I want you to just start to make little peace signs with your index finger, middle finger. And you're going to start to kind of wrap the side of your ear, show here, like this. And then you're going to take your ears and make a little circle with these peace signs. So it's like you're circling your entire ear forward and around, right? You maybe have some fluid that's built up in the ears. You might actually feel a draining sensation, or you might not, right? Both are okay things to be feeling here. But see if you can really not only think of moving the ear, but actually moving all the fascia connected to the ear. So kind of where it connects to the tissue of the jaw, of the skull, just starting to find some movement there, right? If you notice the skin has a hard time maybe moving and circling like this, go a little softer, but continue to soften enough that you sort of give way for the skin to move. I'm going to reverse the circles here as well, right? You're just finding a little bit of a drain here potentially. But the ears have a lot of connections to our vagus nerve, so this can be something that right away kind of puts the body in a more relaxed state. Okay. And after your next circle, just start to bring your fingertips to the earlobes and just sort of massage in this general area. So you're massaging earlobes, maybe you go up the ear, right? Maybe you go inside, kind of closer to the canal, just finding little circles, right? Gentle circles. We're not trying to create too much force, right? It's not something that should be painful. I want you to think in this whole session today, how can I make this feel really good, right? Maybe I make it my own, but how can it feel good for me? How can I linger in the moments that feel really good and hang there a little bit longer? Maybe notice where other parts of your body respond when you kind of find areas of tension. Maybe you start to kind of close up in the jaw. Maybe you start to feel that the hips are clenching, right? Maybe you feel like you're just holding somewhere else that I think in this moment you could just, again, allow that space to surrender, right? Telling the body it's safe to kind of feel these sensations without necessarily needing to brace for impact. Okay, we're going to continue with the fingertips up near the temples. And again, you're trying to just move the skin, move the fascia around the sides of your head, be moving up into the scalp, right? If you notice spots in the scalp that aren't moving well or just feel, stuck, tender, right? Be gentle, but see if you can maybe draw some more circles. Maybe apply as much pressure as you feel is appropriate, right? I'm taking my heels of the hands and sort of getting into the forehead at the same time. So maybe you do something similar, right? Moving, be reaching the back of your skull, maybe taking your thumbs down towards the bottom of your skull where it meets the top of the neck. And again, gentle circles here. Okay. All the while, just keeping your eyes either closed or the gaze very, very soft. Okay, but just allow those eyes to feel heavy. Okay. When you feel satisfied with your scalp work, you can start to bring your fingertips to the very base of that skull. So this is where the back of your skull meets the top of your neck. You'll feel two little ridges in there. This is where your suboccipital muscles live, right? These have some connections to your eyes. So if you have a lot of eye strain, these muscles might be very, very tender. For most of us, they're very tender because we're looking at screens all the time. So our eyes are kind of fixed and strained, and these muscles can get fatigued as a response to that, as well as other postural things. But once you've found that spot, press your fingertips in. Do the same kind of circular motion, right? Don't be afraid to really press inward. But then just notice every time you apply more pressure, has any other part of my body started to respond because of that, right? If I apply pressure and it's a tender spot, did I clench up somewhere else? And that's a sign that maybe you've done a little bit more than you need to do. You can take these fingertips up and down, just kind of stroking the back of the neck and keeping that same pressure, right? Just again, letting this feel good, right? We are giving ourselves some nice healing touch here. We're reminding our body that we notice it's there, we notice the tension, and we're giving it the attention that it wants and is craving. Right? Sometimes we get these aches and pains and feelings of strain in the body, and it's just asking for us to kind of notice. Right? So the first step is a nice noticing. Okay. When you're ready, just go ahead and release the arms down. Let's let the arms just fall open to a nice wide T position. Okay, and then when you're in this T position, I want you to just notice your collarbones. Just notice them. Feel how they can kind of splay wide across your chest. And I want you to just take again that nice breath in. See if you can pull more air this time into the back ribs, like you were breathing the air down into the floor. And then when you exhale, I want you to feel the backs of your shoulders, skull, rib cage, hips sinking down, like it could sink underneath the floor you're lying on, right? Maybe there's a basement underneath of you, maybe there's another floor underneath of you. I want you to just imagine the back half of your body sinking down below the floor, getting as heavy as it possibly can. Good. From here, we're just going to take a very gentle movement for the shoulders. All you're going to do with the left shoulder is begin turning the very top of this shoulder head and the very top of that left arm bone, the humerus, forward so that your arm gently rolls into this little internal rotation. And then you're going to do that on the other side. As the left arm rolls out, the right arm rolls in. Just kind of alternating. And what we're doing here is working through rotation with as much heaviness as possible. I want you to almost not care at all. Like just do so little that your bones can just kind of roll passively inward and outward, right? And we're going to do that for 3, 2, 1. You'll stretch your arms up to the sky. And then right away, we're just going to reach our fingertips up nice and high. Again, imagine somebody was holding on to your hands right now. They were pulling your hands up, but your arms are just like dead weight. They are just hanging out. They're not doing anything muscular, right? Nothing, no engagement, right? Just let them be dead weight. You're just pulling up. Someone's drawing your hands a little closer to the ceiling. Then you're just allowing your shoulder blades to fall back. So it's super passive once again, right? We're just imagining that we could do this with as little effort as possible, right? And as you're moving the bones, allow the tissues right between your shoulder blades, in your upper traps, maybe up into the back and sides of your neck, to feel so so um, like liquefied, like they're just gliding and sliding, right? With as little of that kind of clenching sensation or engagement as possible. Just allowing tissues to slide over one another. We're allowing our bones to slide and glide. Right? Just taking that for 3. For 2. And next time you reach up, just pause at the top, clasp your fingers together. You're just going to take a little roll of the head to the right and think of reaching your arms across to the right, only as far as you're able to keep your legs and your hips still. Just finding a nice rotation in the rib cage and pull back to center again. As little effort as possible. Let your arms go across to the left, head gently rolls to the left, and then come back, right? Make sure that you're not bending through the elbows in an attempt to get your arms further across. Like, we don't care how far across they get. It's again about encouraging this rotation with little effort. Okay. Encouraging, slide, and glide. Last one here. Inhaling as you reach across, breathing into the back of the lungs. And to the left. Okay. When you come back to center, I want you to just allow your feet to go maybe a little bit wider with that internal rotation. And then from the very, very, very tops of your thigh bones, imagine them plugging deep inside of their sockets, right? That socket kind of lives up deep, deep in this kind of outer hip area, not outer, inner hip area, right? So when we picture the socket, I want you to imagine your legs plugging up and inside of the hips, right? We're going to take the thighs and just start to rotate from the socket. So we turn out and then we turn in. And as you turn out and in, again, we're not trying to do anything. We're just trying to be as relaxed as possible. Maybe you go super slow and just allow the bones to rotate deep within that socket and then in. And just seeing how, as the legs rotate out, there's a shape change in the pelvis. The outer hips start to kind of shorten. The back of the hips maybe feel like they're shortening a little bit. And then when you internally rotate, the outer hips and the back of the hips start to lengthen. More. And as you come back to center, we're going to take the right leg and just gently fold it in towards your chest. You're going to let the left leg extend long. Now, if you prefer maybe a deeper sensation for this, you're going to prop your hips up underneath a pillow, right? And you're just going to extend the leg out long. You'll get more extension through the front of your hip that way. But even without any prop, you're just going to take your left foot and flex it up towards the sky. And notice for many of us, the leg is going to want to roll out here. You're going to just find a little bit of engagement with your inner leg to turn the leg slightly inward. Okay, just so that the toes stay pointing up to the sky, the thigh bone is in more of a parallel position. And right away here, we're going to take a breath into the back side of the rib cage, sending the air to where the diaphragm kind of meets the top of the psoas. The psoas is your largest and deepest hip flexor, and it has a lot of emotional ties to it. When we are stressed or scared, the psoas tends to contract in fear, right? So When we breathe into it and when we exhale and really allow that diaphragm to pull up, it actually gives our psoas muscle a little bit of an internal stretch, right? So this is for people who we have those like chronically tight hip flexors, just generally feel like a sense of tugging or discomfort in their abdominal area, maybe in their groin area or their lower backs, right? And so when we inhale, again, we're breathing down to the very, very bottom rim of that rib cage in the back. And then when we exhale, we're allowing those ribs to sink heavy into the floor. Just imagining this kind of piece of fascia running from the inner thigh through your intestines all the way up to the back of the rib cage, getting longer and just unraveling with each breath out. So we'll take that 2 more times. I encourage you to let your exhale be as long as it possibly can be. Imagine you were trying to kind of blow up a balloon very gently, pressing the air out of the lungs until there's truly no air left. Okay, when you're ready to release, we'll take that on the other side. Just go ahead and bring that left knee in towards your chest. Right leg extends long. Little flex in the foot. Again, we turn the leg inward just to find that nice starting point. You're going to take a breath in through your nose and then exhale, surrender, let it go. Maybe just noticing the thoughts that are coming up right now. Right? Noticing your, I don't know, tendency to kind of want to fix something or get to an end result. Right? Just noticing that maybe this is an area of a lot of tightness and restriction for you, and it's not something that's going to be necessarily solved instantly. So maybe the goal isn't to force our body to change, but just to listen. With each exhale, inviting it to maybe give way a little bit, soften a little bit more, find some more space. Right? Just knowing that maybe quote unquote attacking these areas of tightness or getting rid of them isn't really the most sustainable option. You're just realizing they're tight for a reason and the body's trying to communicate something. Last exhale. Okay, whenever you're ready, we're going to just bend the knees, just roll over to one side, just gentle roll up. You're going to use your arms to press yourself up back to a seated position. We're going to do a little bit of work on the feet to finish out here. So if you'd like to do this sitting in a chair or a stool, please feel free to find a way that feels comfortable. I'm going to show this on the floor. So best way I found is to grab onto the top half of the foot, ball of the foot with one hand, the heel with the other, and you can always switch whatever grip gives you the most leverage. But you're going to think about twisting your heel up one direction as the big toe goes down in the opposite direction, and then we're going to switch. So it's this little twist, right, in opposite directions, just to open up any restrictions in the arch of the foot. Again, nothing forced, right? You're just moving bones, moving tissue, right? Just seeing what that is in your foot today. Yeah. After a few reps, you can switch to the other foot. Okay, just grabbing ball of the foot with one hand, heel with the other. Get a grip that gives you some leverage. Ball of the foot goes one way, heel goes the other. Give you a better visual of this. Yeah, good. Last two. Okay. And then we're going to take the foot. You can do the same foot that you're currently holding. You're going to take your fingers through each of the toes. Right? Just trust the process. Maybe it's a little weird at first, but very good for us. Like you're holding hands with your own foot. You're going to really, really get in between the toes. You're going to spread your fingers, right? Just spread through the toes and then close. Give it a little bit of a squeeze and then spread and then close. Feet, their relationship to the floor, right? How you're positioned on your feet plays a big role in how you feel, right? Our feet are compressed. They feel unstable when we stand. We're going to feel unstable. And we're going to carry that into our days, right? The more we can splay the feet and allow them to widen and really support us, the more the rest of our body's going to feel really grounded and supported, right, as we move through life. So, all very important things. You're going to keep holding hands with your foot, and you're just going to give it a nice circle, the ankle. Okay. And the other way. Right, just moving slowly through any sticky spots in the ankle joint. No rush here. Good. That out. Take that same foot out in front of you and see if you can just lift up all of your toes and then relax them down. Okay. Little lift and lower. And as you lift, see if you can lift up just the big toe and then just the outer four. Okay. Little play with the toes to help ground us. We'll do that for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay. We'll take that hand holding, foot holding position on the other side. So bring all your fingers in between the toes. And then, hold hands with your foot, squeeze and spread. With the intention that we are not only opening up the toes, but even this kind of metatarsal space, right? The webbing between your toes, between this midfoot, opening that up, right? Let it spread wide to the side. And again, you can do this seated in a chair too. Okay, 2 more. Okay, keep holding hands with that foot. Give it a little circle. Yeah. Other way. These sticky spots in the ankle. Move through them with care. Move through them mindfully. Okay. Yes. And then last thing I want you to do for your feet, make a fist. Knuckles are going to rub the bottom of the feet. Try to get under the toes, under the ball of the foot, the arch, the heel, right? Really go in every little crevice of that foot, waking up all the nerve endings in the bottom of the foot. So, so, so important to bring awareness to these. We are so compressed in our shoes all day. Really takes us away from these deep sensations that we should have in the bottoms of the feet. Okay, other side. Rub. Okay, last thing we're gonna do here. Just slowly make your way to your hands and knees. Little transition moment. I just want you to tuck the toes under, pick up your knees and hips, just find a little downward dog position. And you're just gonna take a little pedal here, massaging those feet into the floor. And instead of just kind of pedaling like this, I feel like you're really pulling the heels up off of something really sticky and then pushing the opposite heel down. Right, so moving with this deep, deep sense of resistance, like the air around you was super sticky, and you had no choice but to move with a little bit more of this nice resistant quality. Right, let the head be easy. I'm gonna do that for two more. You're gonna walk your hands to your feet. You're gonna find this nice forward bend. Bend the knees. Allow the head to soften, that space that we kind of massaged earlier, right at the back of the skull. Let that drop and open, right? Crown of the head drops towards the floor. Back of the skull opens. You fold into your knees and hips. Get really, really wide in all four corners of your feet. And I want you to just start to push down into the feet, and that's going to start this nice, slow roll up where you're going to pause about halfway. You're just going to give your arms a little passive circle, right? Again, just trying to expose that back of the neck, suboccipital space as you circle your arms. Feeling that space between the shoulder blades getting wider. Arms just hanging off of the shoulders. Reverse. Feel like you're holding any tension in your head. Just start to give it a little bobble side to side. And then arms stay nice and heavy. You're going to slowly roll up through the rest of the spine. Standing tall, opening up through the fronts of the hips, drawing your rib cage back over your pelvis, head over your ribs. Yes. Right. I hope you're feeling a little bit more in touch with your body, a little more present. And please let me know if you have any questions about anything we've done today, or if you'd like to see more of these somatic based videos. All right. See you next time.